Hello, everybody. Thanks for joining. This is Holger Mueller from Constellation Research, sharing my top takeaways from Ultimate Software's Analyst Summit, which happened this week at the headquarters in Weston, Florida. Meeting was well attended with a really nice agenda for us analysts. Check out the tweet stream to understand that better. Let's say we learned a lot of things beyond HR software, which is always fun to do in a smaller setting like that. What are my key takeaways? Ultimate in general, on a very, very high level, has answered finally my question, which I've been asking their CEO, Scott Scher, since I know him since 5+ years, being an industry analyst and saying you cannot maintain your growth with building out talent management and focusing on North America. And Scott would always be saying, no, we have ways. And he proved me wrong because the company kept growing really well, really nicely over the last 4 or 5 years. But then this summer, Ultimate all of a sudden did the biggest acquisition in their history, acquired PeopleDocs, and is pushing clearly into HR services. We had the PeopleDocs CEO, Mueller, there, talked about how he moved his company, started his company, and moved it to the US. So the upsell is not necessarily just in Europe, which some people might have thought originally, but it's a well-traded US company, and HR services, the automation of what's often called the employee call center, is something which Ultimate will aggressively upsell, I would expect, to its existing customers here. So a good answer from that perspective. And of course, it gives Ultimate what they also admit they have to do in the longer run, an outlet to outside of North America, moving and going to Europe and piggybacking along HR services. Of course, thinking first about things like augmenting it with second takeaway, they're really well going Xander, artificial intelligence, very strong on the sentiment NLP side based on the Canoia acquisition. And of course, you can capture or can combine HR services and the need for employee support with HR solutions very well with AI. Overall, the company keeps growing on sales and products, so that's a strong story, good story, spends a lot on R&D, which I always like to see. The question is, of course, what can come out of the R&D, and there's nothing's coming next year with the completion of its own proprietary, everything's proprietary when it's built themselves, of its own workforce management, allowing Ultimate not to use Inforce Workbrain product on a higher level. The momentum with Xander remains strong, and always when you deal with Ultimate, there's a very strong cultural aspect on people first in the conversation with all the executives, what the company does. Check out the tweet stream on that. It's really unique in the industry, and if you need a showcase for saying if you do right to your employees, you do right to customers, which is the credo which both the CEO Scott Scher and the CHRO with Mansa shared with us, then Ultimate is certainly that. So overall takeaway, Ultimate has pretty much thrown the dice, right? AI with Xander, HR services, and a focus in Europe because that's where PeopleDocs is from. Makes a lot of sense. It's something for the longer term, so the growth avenue is clear. Now, of course, once you've done an acquisition, it's all about execution. Ultimate has shown they're pretty good at execution on the sales and go-to-market side. Now they have to show significantly more investment understanding of foreign markets and other aspects on the product development side as well. All right, this was already way too long. This was Holger Mueller from Constellation Research. Follow me on Twitter at HolgerMU, that's HOLGERMU, and lots of information from that on the Analyst Summit out there. There's a Twitter moment. There's a one-slide share, which is basically my script for this video. So appreciate you watching and speak to you soon. Thanks, bye-bye.